How's it going? Oh, right, today I'm having a bit of a rant. Oh, why are you? So I may or may not use some profanities if the need arises, because I do feel a little bit vexed, I have to say. But before we start, just a word from today's sponsor, Foldaway Treadmills. So get your foldaway treadmill, buy a all new fitness kit, get some expensive trainers, use it for a week, then stick it in the corner and use it as a clothes rack. Bam! Okay, do yourself in. I just wanted to talk about some of my videos I make on resistance bands and chest expanders and things like that. Now, this is mad, right? Because I'm actually quite for chest expanders, but I think bands are better. But every time I say bands are better, some arsehole pops up in the comments going, no, keyboard warrior. Okay, it's ridiculous. And they talk absolute bollocks. It's just, they use big words because they probably looked up a thesaurus or Googled it earlier. You know, hypertrophic. Fuck off, right? We can all use big words. It doesn't mean you know anything. You just probably copy and paste in some of the comments. But, and you always know they're going to be a dickhead, right? When they always start off their first comment with, you don't know anything, you're an idiot because, you are stupid because you said, or, you know, so they always try and undermine either your intelligence or your knowledge. And I think the reason they do this is because they have huge egos, probably the size of Greenland, but underneath all that bullshit, right, is a weak, tiny little man. Or person, could be a woman, you never know, okay? So they feel the need to bring you down to make themselves feel better. So you're stupid, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. So they attack your intelligence or your knowledge. So you know they're going to be an arsehole when they start off like that. They don't just start with, I actually disagree with that. I think it's this way. And then you can have a good debate about it. Don't start insulting me straight from the off, the first sentence. Fuck off, prick. So anyway, right. So I've had a couple, they pop up every now and again. And I've had a couple on chest expanders and resistance bands. And this guy claimed that the chest expander has a better curve, some bollocks or other, right? And resistance bands are not as good, right? I don't get where he's coming from with it. I can't see how there can be a massive difference. So I challenged him on it and said, how do you work that? Apparently there's a better resistance curve to a chest expander straight from the off. And when I challenged that, he said that, well, thing is though, a chest expander, there's tension straight from the beginning, but there's nothing, right, at the beginning of a resistance band. Now, has any one of you using resistance bands ever started off with a resistance band floppy? Hang on. I'm back. Sorry. I should have got one of these to start. So let's say I'm going to stretch it apart, okay? Do I start off with it like this and go floppy and then go floppy and then go Of course I bloody don't. I get it to the right tension. Were they? No, there we are. Am I starting from nothing now? No, I'm not starting from nothing. Complete and utter horse shit. Okay, and then what happens then when I say that's horse shit? They then backtrack and then try and say, and I say you're backtracking. No, I'm not. What did he say? I'm not backtracking. I'm just rephrasing. Bollocks! You're backtracking. So anyway, it goes on and on and on about the studies I quote are nonsense, and they always say I want a cross-sectional longitudinal study. Fuck off. You don't even know what they are. You couldn't do a study if it fucking stared you right in the face. Okay? It's like, look, you know, where they compare these studies to weight training. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not saying that if you was going to wanted to be a champion bodybuilder, you can incorporate resistance bands. But if you wanted to be a champion bodybuilding, gear taking, steroid head, right? Then probably you're going to come to the point of diminishing returns with resistance bands. Simply because, say, Ronnie Coleman, okay, one of the strongest bodybuilders that's ever lived. Massive bloke, okay, in his day. And he would have to have a resistance band about 5 foot thick. Do you know what I mean? Because he'd have to have 16 resistance bands just to get enough resistance for him. But here's the thing. He's like 0.1% of the population. The majority of us, or the majority of people who probably watch me, the 99.9%, are never going to get that strong. One, because we don't take gear. And two, we're not looking to get to that goal. Okay, we're looking to get in shape. And so, take from it what you will. But when they're comparable to, and they go, oh, only newbies get gains from these. No, if you use progressive resistance, you can still get gains, okay? So anyway, this discussion went on. And I'm getting to the crux of it now. Sorry, I'm going around the bush a bit, okay, to get to where I'm going. So when they start to lose the argument, when they start to lose, they start backtracking, which he did, and then it came to the point where they attack the way I look, because they can't win the argument. So therefore, what they say is, well, you're not very big, are you? So obviously these don't work. So they attack the way I look. And it's a very low fucking kicking, very, it's a punch in the back of the head. It's a kick in the nuts, isn't it? That's what it is. It's a stab in the back. Do you know what I mean? A cowardly fucking way to get in, to get you. Literally, listen, it's water off a duck's back to me. I've got skin thicker than a rhino's arse. I'm like, whatever, you prick. Okay? But they try and use the way I look to undermine how effective resistance bands are. That's got fuck all to do with it. Let me tell you something now, right? So Dorian Yates, well, I think he was 6 times Mr. Olympia, huge in his day. He's not that big anymore, right? Does that mean he doesn't know much about weight training? What a load of bollocks. Thick as shit, man. So anyway, so he makes that comment, not knowing my personal circumstances or who I am, how old I am or anything. So let me give you a couple of examples here. First of all, I'm 57 years old. My testosterone levels have dipped quite dramatically, okay? Yeah, you've got 57-year-olds that probably look better than me. 60-year-olds, I've seen some of them. Or you've got them 30-year-old guys who dye their hair and beards grey to pretend they're old to get more followers. Wankers, okay? And they're on the gear. But there's an elephant in the room, isn't it? Because a lot of these people who are my age and a bit older, who look in great shape, I guarantee, unless they've got really, really insane genetics, okay, are taking at least testosterone replacement therapy, or they're on a course of gear. But I would say the majority of them are on probably testosterone replacement therapy. I'm not. So I'm on a loser there, aren't I? Because my testosterone isn't as high as it used to be when I was 30 or 25. I think it's like 1 to 1.5% a year I lose. So I think last time I tested my testosterone, the thing is that we measure it differently in the US, in North America and stuff like that, in Canada. What did we use? I think we used nanomoles per deciliter or something like that, something like that. Anyway, so I'll give you the equivalent what I think it is now. So mine was about 12. And the normal range in the UK is between 10 and 25 or 30, perhaps around there. So mine was around 12. So yeah, it's in the normal range, but it's low. And I did that about 2 years ago. So I'd imagine now it's probably dipped to about 11 or 10. And in America, in the US and Canada, that would probably be around about 300. Okay, so that's right at the bottom end of the testosterone levels, right at the bottom end. So if I was on TRT, I'd have a bit of an advantage. So there's that, okay? And secondly, and I don't mention this a lot, I have mentioned it previously on my channel a couple of years ago, I have an autoimmune disease. Okay? I have an autoimmune disease which is debilitating for me. Sometimes I can't train for weeks because my joints are so bad. And not only does it affect my joints, it affects my lungs. And this is why sometimes you see big gaps between my videos because I'm ill. Okay? I mean, I was ill for possibly 2.5 to 3 months. I went through a battery of tests. They thought I had flipping lung cancer because my lungs were so bad. Okay? But luckily, I've got over that. Fine, no problem. I'm not looking for sympathy. Couldn't give a shit. I just battle on with it. Couldn't give a flying fuck. Okay? But I keep going on. And I couldn't train for many months, so I lost quite a dramatic amount of weight. So here's the thing, right? I'm 57 with quite low testosterone levels and an autoimmune disease which fucks my joints up, okay? And I'm still in pretty good shape for my age, all right? Not bad. I never give up. I keep trying and keep trying. As soon as I could train again, I could train. Sometimes then I got to have a week off because my joints are hurting too much or my lungs are playing up or my eyes are playing up because it affects my eyes as well. But I'm not looking for the world's smallest violin. I'm not looking for sympathy. Please don't. I don't want any of that shit, okay? Right? I don't want any sympathy or any sorrow for me because I just battle on. There's many people much worse off than I am in the world, okay? But I let him know that. So he's judging me on the way I look. Fucking hell, I tell you something, right? So I'm 57, low testosterone levels, right? And an autoimmune disease, and I still look pretty good. Everybody should be taking my advice. They go, how the fuck does he look? How the fuck is he staying in shape? Well, all them things wrong with him. Right? What? No TRT, autoimmune disease, joints fucked. Can hardly breathe sometimes. Okay? So fuck off, you prick. Right? They don't work because you don't look as big as me. It's Neanderthal mentality. You don't look as big as me, therefore you don't know as much. Fuck you, right? It's a knuckle dragging. Duh, you're as big as me. So you don't know fuck all. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so I'm sticking my guns and I'm saying, right, that resistance bands are very good and you can still build a decent physique with them. Are you going to look like Ronnie Coleman? No, probably not. Okay, right? So many of these fucking influencers are on the gear trying to claim they're natural. Fuck off. They do my nut. Look at me, buy my program. Fuck your program. Okay? The thing is always this, if you look at someone like, I'm going to come to the end now, but I wanted to mention this. So if you look at someone like Greg Doucette, okay? Now, Greg Doucette is only in his mid-40s and he's already on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. And he openly admits that. I like his stuff, Greg Doucette. I think he's very honest, very outspoken. He does do a lot of fucking clickbait shit. But, you know, this guy's trying to make a living. We all are on here. Do you know what I mean? We're just trying to make some extra money for our families. So he can be a bit clickbaity and controversial and clout chasing. I give him that. But when he gives advice about weight training, he knows his shit. Okay? But the reason he's on TRT is because his bollocks are fucked from taking so much gear when he was younger. Okay? Right? He's still in good shape, but he is taking, I think, 140 milligrams every week, possibly, of TRT, hormone replacement therapy. And so there you go. He's only in his 40s. I'm 57. I don't take nothing. Okay. So anyway, that's the end of my rant. Thanks for watching. Normal service will return soon. I'll catch you in the next one.